There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Ooh, what's up and welcome into episode number 45 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Ryan Tyson, Mark Hall, Matt Gann, Patrick Hertzberger. Today is Thursday, November 17th. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Trying to hit 1,300 subscribers by the end of the week. Try to help us out. I think we got to 1,200. I don't even know. I think so. If not, try to get us to 1,200 and then we'll get to 1,300. Follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z. However you get your podcast, that's where you can find us. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. Banging post-game pod for the people.
Every time we lose, baby.
Dude, I know. People love to hear us complain. You got to love it. But it's a new week. The Oklahoma Sooners welcome in the Oklahoma State Cowboys into Norman for Bedlam. It's going to be cold. Don't know if it's going to be wet. I don't think it's supposed to rain. I think we're good. But really all the boys are going to be in Norman together.
We're all going, baby.
First time that everyone's been together in a long time. All five.
Since we launched this podcast.
Yeah.
We've never been all together in
definitely.
person.
Like even before that.
But even before that.
Probably been at least 2. It was Houston against Oklahoma in 2019 Labor Day, I believe.
I wasn't at that game, so
Mason
you're incorrect.
wasn't there.
You were there because you brought Boston and we went to
I've never been to Houston in my life.
No. We played Houston in Norman. That's the last time.
Oh, you're right. No, correct. Okay.
All
right, I was there.
Okay.
I was there. Boston was on campus.
Anyway, it's been a long time. 3 years at least?
Yeah, been a hot minute. Yeah. We survived COVID. We survived the Lincoln Riley era. We're here. We're back. The boys are back. How we feeling? Guys? Matt Gann.
I'm excited for the boys to be back in town, baby. It's been too long. I've seen a couple of you guys, Tyson and Mark. I haven't seen Patrick since February, and obviously I haven't seen the handsome devil himself, Mason Prince, in way too long. So I'm excited for the boys to get together and have a little Bedlam weekend ourselves. Be a good time.
That's right. How
winks.
Again, we were in Vegas in April, but February works.
Oh, Matt.
I forgot about that too because I was thinking the last time I saw you.
Crazy. Mark, Ryan, how we doing, boys?
We're doing good. It's cold down here in Dallas. I'm loving it. I love the cold.
So do I.
It's a nice, balmy, 52 is the average. So it's going to be real cold at this game.
39 degrees in Tulsa right now. 39 in Tulsa. So, yeah. Mark?
I'm in a weird place this week because this is the first week where I started thinking hey, what's some cool off-season stuff we could do? Mm-hmm. And now, that sounds better than talking about this football. So, just in a weird zone, but
I know
we got 2 more weeks. Let's all we can do is go 1-0 this week, right? So
that's all you can do. That's
sooner, baby.
That's a good segue. Let's talk some shop real quick. We'll start with the recruiting news of the week because I think we got kind of a lot to get to. So I want to go through some of the stuff that's happened this week. PJ PJ and Caden Green confirmed their commitment to OU in an interview with Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World. I think he did a Zoom Skype interview with them both, talked to them, both Missouri guys, both reaffirming their commitment, which is massive because PJ being 5-star on 1 or 2 websites and Caden being a highly ranked offensive lineman, highly ranked. Those are 2 linchpins you got to keep along with Jackson Arnold. So to have those 2 guys confirmed, they ain't going nowhere is a good feeling, right?
Yeah. It's huge. If we start losing people like that, we got some much bigger problems coming up in the future.
Well, it's guys like those 2, and we have a comment coming up about Jackson Arnold, who Brent spoke about without speaking about.
Yeah.
Guys like that are seeing the vision and hearing what these coaches are preaching and thinking, I could be what takes that school to the next level. I could be the quarterback that leads it. PJ could be, the leader of the next great Oklahoma defense, right? Mm-hmm. All the things that I'm sure that Brent was able to preach at Clemson. He's able to do the same thing from an even higher position of power now. You need to keep those guys. That is a very big deal. And so seeing an article like this, they seem sincere about it. That's a big deal.
Another guy, linebacker Lewis Carter, also reaffirming his commitment to Oklahoma in an interview with somebody on a website. I should give them credit. BVM Sports had an interview with Lewis Carter, and he basically Cody Kluge is the guy who did the interview, wrote the article. Credit where credit is due. So he's a guy who has reaffirmed his commitment. And I thought it was interesting, Brent, during his press conference media availability this week, mentioned Jackson Arnold without really mentioning Jackson Arnold. He was asked about how you recruit being 5-5, how difficult it is or how not difficult it is. And he mentioned kind of a hypothetical situation that you would have a very, very highly ranked quarterback who's committed to your class, and other schools with big names are trying to recruit him and steal him away from Oklahoma, but he's locked in with you because of X, Y, and Z reasons of why Oklahoma is great. So I get a pretty good feeling that Jackson Arnold is probably as locked in as a guy can be as well. Is that kind of what you guys felt?
Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah. And we needed
Pat.
this. We need all these guys to make quotes this week. I mean, it's making us feel a whole lot better, but it's making the rest of the recruiting class feeling better too. I mean, Jackson Arnold is, I think, kind of the key to all of this. If he's still coming, I still feel very confident in how the team's going to shape up in the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I
agree.
I think it helps the fan base too. Like we've already talked about how emotional we as OU fans can get, and keeping them. It feels like keeping, the structure of the house from completely falling over, which the house is kind of on fire right now, but it hasn't fallen over. It's still sturdy. So, moving into it, that was a really bad analogy, but you guys get my point.
It's fine. Matt?
No, it's hard to come from that, Ryan. That was incredible by you. My biggest thing and my biggest concern was BV's policy going to start breaking after what happened with Colton Basket, right? We were worried about what BV's policy going to hold up, especially after a big name recruit did exactly that. So hearing the reconfirmations from these guys, I think they just believe in what BV and this coaching staff is preaching. So that it works. I think this is going to continue throughout the years. We're going to get these big guys. We're going to be in competition for these high-level guys. And unfortunately, they are going to flip because of NIL deals and other factors to consider. But hearing these guys, I think definitely gives us the confidence that we need, that BV can still recruit at a very high level, especially in his first year, even with the record currently where it stands.
I don't know if you guys saw the video of Jackson Arnold this past week where he absolutely just trucked a linebacker.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy is so
it.
good, and I cannot wait for him to do that to Colton Vasek in 2 years, like in an OU Texas game. It's going to be awesome.
Can be a good time.
Yeah.
Mark, anything to add on this front?
Only that it was really great to hear, I guess not hear from, but that Brent is so confident in Jackson Arnold's commitment and recruitment that he speaks on him, especially with the weekend that we have coming up recruiting wise, and the ties that Jackson has going to Denton Guyer,
Yeah.
with Peyton Bowen, with Ryan Bowen, with Eli Yates, or Ryan Yates. Eli Yates. Eli Bowen, Ryan Yates. That's what it is. All those guys are pulling each other trying to pull each other in the same direction. That we have Jackson so locked in, and we have Peyton coming this week is, there's potential there. That's a flip that everyone has talked about, everyone that knows more than us.
Yeah.
And, maybe we see it come to fruition.
Good segue there. Here's just some of the names that are coming to Norman this weekend, along with the 5 program guys. Some big time recruits. 5-star defensive lineman David Hicks committed to Texas A&M. Peyton Bowen committed to Notre Dame, 5-star safety in the 2023 class. Jackson Arnold will be there. Damian Sanford, he's a 4-star linebacker committed to Texas A&M in the 2023 class. 4-star running back Caleb Hicks is going to be there. He's committed to OU. 4-star 2024 defensive lineman Nigel Smith II will be there as well. So that's according to On3. Their On3 recruits, their Twitter page. You can find it there. So those are just some of the names. I'm sure they have more. I know for a fact they have more because I saw some guys who don't jump at their names, don't jump out at you, but I know some other recruits will be there. It's a massive weekend, not only for right now, but it's massive for the future. And good Lord, they need to win. Good Lord, they need
primetime night game.
Yeah. They really anything else on the recruiting front, guys, before. Oh, also I want to mention Brent Venables said they won't go after a quarterback in the transfer portal this offseason. Says they're good at quarterback.
Yeah,
Take
the
that-
whole
take that
transfer
for what it's
portal
worth.
thing hasn't really worked out anyway. So,
I mean, yeah.
for quarterbacks, at least.
Yeah. So stuck with DG for at least another year, or unless they decide Jackson Arnold is going to start next year. So
You know, I
that's where
take
you're
that
at.
back. We could get if we could get someone better in the transfer portal, I'd be down. That'd be fine.
To me, it's more just like it's sort of like saying weeks and weeks ago that Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie are redshirting, and then you have a linebacker go down, and it's like, I mean, I think those guys still are, but why would you paint yourself into a corner like that? If some dude wants to leave their place and come to play for Oklahoma, you don't just say now, yeah, no, we're not doing it. Whatever.
I'm fine if you want to stick with Dylan, because I get it. I think he gets a lot of crap that he doesn't necessarily deserve. But if you're just saying we're good at quarterback, period, end of sentence, we've seen you're not with your backups that you have now. So you got to, unless you're going to throw Jackson Arnold into the mix immediately next year, and that's what you're going to do, whether it be a backup or a starter, you got to get in the transfer portal to get some sort of depth in that quarterback room, because the guys in there now ain't it. You've shown it. You've shown.
I wonder if they're expecting like Nick Evers to, develop a little bit more over the next year, and and like he's like, okay, well, we got that, we got Dylan, we got Jackson coming in, like we're fine. I don't necessarily know. I don't like. I'm kind of with Mark. I don't really agree with just like saying this. I mean, I didn't watch the whole press conference. So was he like prompted about this specifically, or did he just come out and say it?
They asked him about the transfer portal in general, and he said they'll look at it, but like kind of brought up the quarterback by himself and was just like, we're good on quarterback. So
yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know. Don't paint yourself into a corner. If someone really wants to come and they're good, at least look at it. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is going to be looking at it. Don't give everybody else a leg up on you when it's like the opportunity is there. So I did have a question, because a lot of the rumors around Arnold were like tied to Notre Dame. Is that because of Peyton Bowen?
I don't know enough.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think that they're like, oh, we would only go after Jackson Arnold because he's from the same school as Peyton Bowen. But if Jackson Arnold wants to flip, I think there's no way we get Peyton Bowen, right?
No, yeah,
right. That's
and I think Jackson Arnold's not flipping because they might have an agreement with him of like, hey, you're at least the number 2 next year, and we're not going to the transfer portal.
That might be why he's saying that.
Yeah.
Actually, he might be speaking to Jackson Arnold through the press. Some 3D chess. Out of
This is some tinfoil hat shit, guys.
Yeah.
Just like,
we're 5-5.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're grasping at whatever we can now. All right, let's move on to the actual football team that's on the field now. OU welcoming in Oklahoma State this weekend. I think they're 21 in the college football playoff poll. Oklahoma State is not Oklahoma. So OSU coming. Yeah,
someone tell us.
OSU coming into the game ranked. This isn't a scary OSU team, but it's Bedlam, and from what we've seen from this OU team, it's pretty scary to me right now. Some OU news in general: Justin Broyles likely to be available for Oklahoma State, according to Brent. So expect him to be out there. He was also named a captain along with Braden Willis, Dylan Gabriel, Drake Stoops, David Aguebu. So those 5 are your captains for the game. Okay. So anything on that?
I don't know. I like
The
those
captain
captains.
thing, I'm
Like,
just-
We're
I
all
feel-
just looking at each
I
other.
feel like I just keep
chuckling.
beating my head on a wall with the whole captains thing because, like, it obviously they want it to mean something, but it doesn't mean anything because, like, no one is like
giving
the
too
guy.
many people power dilutes power,
It's fair.
or whatever it is. You know,
Leadership.
Maybe power is leadership. That's the right word.
I can agree with that.
Because no one's
That-
taking the leadership if everyone's supposed to be a leader. There needs to be
that
like
was-
a firm 5 guys.
That was an incredible statement by you. I love that.
So like a wild argument
Who's
against
taking
democracy.
responsibility?
Dilute power.
I'm with Patrick.
Anyway,
It was like
Thank
one of
you,
those
Mason.
quotes that you see in like the front of a movie or something that comes up to like start
Right.
a movie.
And
But,
then
like,
Tom
the-
Cruise
the
flying in.
Tom
movies
Cruise
about
was-
war.
It's Top Gun 5.
Amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of the game itself. Oklahoma State is number 22, I should say. They're 7-3, 4-3 in conference play. They average 414 yards a game on offense. They allow 452 yards a game. Let's start with OU's defense against OSU's offense. What do we like? What do we not like?
If we don't get to Spencer Sanders, it's over. Like
Facts.
it's just over. He's a gamer. He's, like I said about Max Duggan earlier this year, he's a guy who's played a lot of football. Brent actually hit on it in his press conference this week. Something like 41 games in college, 52 in high school, which is a crazy number of high school games to play.
Same amount.
He's gonna know what to do if we don't get to him. So I hope we see some more of the blitz packages that we saw last week. Even if you don't get there, just disrupt the play. That's all you can ask for against a guy like that. You know, let's have a Jalen Redmond type performance from the last home game and last home Bedlam and really get after him.
Matt?
Yeah, it's all going to be about Spencer Sanders this game. He didn't even play the full game against Iowa State last week. He actually came off the bench and led them to a game-winning drive, got the game-winning touchdown. But there's a reason why Spencer Sanders was talked about so much at the beginning of the year, and everyone was so high on Oklahoma State, even though they had a lot of people leave on the defensive side of the ball and their defensive coordinator. They really were just relying on Spencer Sanders to carry him all the way. Unfortunately, he's had some injuries this year, just hasn't been able to play like the last few weeks. But like Mark said, he's a gamer. He's not going to miss out on Bedlam, the biggest game of the year, especially for where the teams are at now with their records and what the expectation is for this game. It is going to be an absolute shootout. I don't really expect a lot of defense to be played on either side of the ball, while both teams are giving up over 400 plus yards and have over 400 plus yards of offense per game. So this is, I think, going to be an absolute wild shootout. But I think it's really just going to come down to, can we get pressure on Spencer Sanders and keep him contained, because he is a running QB. And like you know, we've always had problems with running QBs, especially this year. Is he going to be able to break out and sustain drives, or can we keep them contained and get off the field? That's going to be the biggest thing, and just get stops when we need to, because again, this might be a 30, 40 plus point game.
I don't think OU has a shot to win this game if it turns into a shootout. I don't think they do. I think the only way you win this game is if you make Spencer Sanders look pedestrian and look the kind of pedestrian that he's looked for a lot of games in his OSU career. He has games where he plays very well. It doesn't need to be this game. And like Mark said, I think pressure is going to be massively important. It's going to be huge. But I also think he's a guy who can run around. And if you're a linebacker like Danny Stutzman, like David Agwebu, and they're going to put you back there to spy, you have to make the plays. You cannot let Spencer Sanders kill you like he has the ability to do. You just can't do it. And I think the only way OU wins this game is if they make someone beat them besides Spencer Sanders.
Yeah, that's a great point. Go ahead, Mark.
Just real fast, I'm looking some stuff up on the fly, and there's a comment from Pistols Firing blog. It's an Oklahoma State blog.
Yeah.
Spencer Sanders could be just the second Oklahoma State quarterback to win 2 starts against OU.
It's crazy.
That's
real
damning.
tough.
Oh,
That's not the
Yeesh.
flex that they think it is, and
Yeah, that's
nuts.
That's tough. Sorry, go ahead, Pat. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, all good. I love that fact. I mean, just to answer your question, Mason, I don't think anything like lines up well with our defense and their offense. I'm pretty scared. I do think it's going to be a shootout. And if it is a shootout, like you said, I don't think we win. I'm kind of tired of just about hearing the word discipline in every like Oklahoma press conference or podcast or everything. So I'm just going to say it that one time, the one I just said it. But like, we cannot go out there and look lost. We have to have like some kind of structure that continues throughout the game. And like Ryan always says, bend but don't break.
I got called out by Brent Venables in his press conference, not by name, but in general, because I said Danny Stutzman sucks. And he has sucked. He has. And Brent mentioned that he leads the conference in tackles per game. That's fantastic. Like I said, when does he make them? Does he make them when there's no pressure? 100%. When the pressure's on and the bright lights are on, like they're going to be at Bedlam, Danny Stutzman has to make plays. This is the game. If Danny wants to shut me and anybody else who says he's garbage up, this is the game. Because you're important. You're probably arguably the most important player on that defense on Saturday. You have to make plays and make them when they count. And if you do, I'll shut up for the rest of the year. I'll shut up. I swear.
The rest
I promise
of the year
I will.
is one more game, by the way.
That's fine.
Well, the off season counts.
And
I mean,
also,
we
if
would-
you're watching
we would-
this, if you're watching this right now and you think that I'm mean to Danny Stutzman, I am on record as saying at the beginning of the year that I worship at the altar of Danny Stutzman.
You did.
I
I
loved
thought
him.
he was a Bednarik candidate.
I did.
I thought he was going to have
legitimately
a
did.
really great year.
And he just decided to stop being good at football. I've never seen anything like it. So get back to it. This is the game that you have to do. If you're going to build on next year and make Brent look like his belief in you is real, this is the moment. This is it. Lights on at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium against your second biggest rival, little brother. Make them your little brother.
Rival is a strong word.
It's a rivalry. It is.
It
It's a rivalry. You're from Oklahoma. Don't do that. You know it is. They
I'm
don't
just
win a
trying to-
lot, but it's a rivalry. They don't win a lot. Anybody else on the defense?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with everybody else that I think the biggest battle here is containing Spencer Sanders. He is the second leading rusher for the team, which is wild. By like a large margin. He's the second. But I do think something interesting that I'm looking for is how our secondary does against their receivers. You know, they don't really have a stud receiver. They have Presley, who gets most of the receptions, but they have four guys who are over 400 yards for the year. Like, and they're pretty evenly split. And they have, I mean, most of them are over a 12-yard average in their receptions. So, like, they seem to have a pretty balanced receiver room. So I'm interested to see how our secondary handles that and contains it. So that's just something a little different than containing Spencer Sanders.
Plot twist, we won't. There, I just don't see it. It feels like Spencer Sanders knows where to get the ball, and if we continue to play the kind of soft zone without pass recognition on the back end, it's just not going to be there. They're going to be able to nickel and dime down the field and probably break a few longer than that.
If you're watching on our YouTube channel, be sure to comment down below along with us as you're watching this. Let us know how you're breaking down this game, offense, defense, what OU needs to do to win. Matt, did I think you were about to go? Were you about to say something and I interrupted you? Okay.
Well, good.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to the OU offense against the OSU defense. So the OU offense comes into this game totaling 456 yards a game. OSU defense 452 yards allowed a game. They're at the bottom of the Big 12. They're not a very good defensive team. This is a far cry from that defense that we saw last year, that we've seen in the past. Who's their defense? The former Vanderbilt coordinator. What's his name? It's Mason something or something Mason. I can't even remember.
Derek Mason.
Derek Mason. Correct. He's a defensive coordinator. They're not performing very well right now. The name of the game is lean on Eric Gray. Literally feed Eric Gray. Just feed him. And I think if you do that and you let Eric Gray run for 200 yards, by the way, Brent said something in his press conference that he's the fastest OU running back to 1,000 yards in a season besides Adrian Peterson.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's
that is really crazy. I actually don't believe it.
What Brent said. I don't know.
Pat's got to look it up. Pat's got to Google it.
Yeah,
No,
Pat, look it up. But I think the running game is going to be massive for OU. I think you have to lean on Eric Gray. And if you're Dylan Gabriel, Jeff Lebby said something this week about them needing more chunk plays. And I think that's a dangerous game that you're going to play right now. Because when you're not performing well, I feel like the last thing that Dylan Gabriel in this offense needs to do is start chucking balls downfield when he hasn't been accurate on them very often. So why not? Let's just focus on what works, and that's the running game. Lean on Eric Gray. Anyone else?
I think leaning on Eric Gray is sort of what it's all predicated on, but what he's referring to is, hey, we banged him 3 times with Eric Gray. Let's hit a nice deep play action pass to Jaleel Farouk and hope it doesn't bounce off a helmet this time. Or, Marvin down the seam and Dylan puts the ball where it needs to be. It's a lot of the same things that we've been talking about already, where if we're making the plays we're supposed to make, Jeff Lebby doesn't even have to say that because we are going for chunk plays already. We're just not completing them. We're just not capitalizing on the plays that we could make. So hopefully we see a little bit better execution on that. But unless you're just hiding plays somewhere deep in the playbook, I don't know what he could scheme up that would be a little different to get deep plays open because they're there and we're just not making them.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot on the defensive side about containing Spencer Sanders. He's gonna be good. We know that coming in. Dylan has to be better than he's been the last 2 weeks. We need to see the Dylan Gabriel that we saw against Kansas when we had just 700 yards of offense, right? And I know there's more that goes into that, but like you said, Mason, this is not the best defense in the Big 12.
They're literally the worst.
Yeah, and
statistically, they're literally the worst.
We have seen that this offense can take advantage of that. But we haven't seen it since Kansas. And I know, granted, we've been playing a lot better defenses during that time, but we need that Dylan Gabriel. We need the Dylan Gabriel who throw guys. We need, Marvin Mims to get more involved. That's what I'm looking to see is quarterback play because we know quarterback play is going to be there on the other side.
And that's a good point, Ryan. OSU ranks dead last in the conference in passing yards given up a game at 289. So it's open. It's open for the taking for the wide receivers and Dylan Gabriel if they're able to take advantage. Matt?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for me is third down execution. Last week against West Virginia, we were 1 for 11. Couldn't sustain any drives, which obviously led us to play more defense. We got to help our defense out by sustaining drives. But when we do get to third down, DG's got to make the right read, take what the defense can give him. But that's what I'm ultimately going to be looking for is looking for at least 50% or more on third down conversions. That will only keep Spencer Sanders on the sideline. Hopefully that will lead us to more points. Because, again, I think we're going to have to score 40-plus points, unfortunately. It's just going to be one of those games where we're just going to have to outscore OSU. Got it. Third down execution. That's my biggest thing I'm looking for.
So the spread is OU minus 7.5 according to ESPN, which is wild to me. Also, keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. OU is 3-7 against the spread this year. So
that's right.
So I'm going to take OSU to cover.
Yeah.
But I will take OU to win the game 34-31.
Oh, man.
Mark, that just sounded so hurt and distraught.
I hope, right? But if the team that shows up last week shows up, then
yikes.
No,
man,
that's not going to happen.
They find a new low every week. They really do.
I do think there's probably something to the fact that we went East Coast and had an 11 o'clock kick, or I guess noon kick, whatever. But You know what? Let's ride the wave. Get mad at us, commenters. OU 34, OSU 31. Bang.
We have the same score. I love
Same score, you
it.
two.
I love it.
Wow.
Barely listened until you just said
Don't worry about it.
won, you know?
Well, I'm trying to do the math on how you get 34, guys. So, hey.
4 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
Yeah. 4 touchdowns, 2
4
field goals.
touchdowns,
Okay.
3 safeties.
Okay.
Bingo.
Okay.
Pat,
All right.
what do you got?
I like that number. I like it a lot.
You're right. Doesn't it feel good?
It feels right.
It does. No, it feels really right.
By the way, that's also the under me and Mark have because the over-under set at 66. So we have the under.
Mark's not sure.
Now Mark doesn't like it.
No, I do like it because
Okay,
it's right at the
Yeah.
under.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pat.
I'm gonna go 38 to 41 Oklahoma. 41-38.
41-38. Boom soon. Matt?
We haven't scored that many points in like a month
Since
combined.
Kansas.
Right.
Since
I haven't
Kansas.
showed up. I haven't showed up to a game either yet. So
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
you ain't
That's
gonna have it.
true.
Pat's going
All
to
right.
leave in the third quarter.
He's gonna be like, I
Yeah.
don't want to see this in person. This is
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
Matt.
stick to my guns here. I'm gonna say we have to score 40 plus. I also think we might give up 40 plus. So I'm gonna go 45-42 OU. I think it's just gonna be one of those high scoring games. I think Levy's just gonna go maybe a little bit deeper in the playbook than he usually would for Bedlam. He's got to bring out all the stops, I think, especially with all the recruits, what this game means to become bowl eligible. This game is the most important. We absolutely need to win this. 45-42 is what I got.
Absolutely. Ryan?
I'm gonna do 38-35. OU.
Okay. Those are our picks. Let us know down below who you're picking for this game, who wins, who covers, all that stuff. We'll look back on it with
They're gonna get
hopefully-
mad at us again.
hopefully
the
good-
commentators.
good feelings. The biggest thing I'm looking for this week is, once again, it's going to be Danny Stutzman. I want Danny Stutzman to shut me up. I would love for him to prove me wrong. I'd love for it. So Danny Stutzman is my what to watch for. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, my what to watch for is Dylan Gabriel and how he performs. If he has a bad game, we're going to lose this game, in my opinion.
I agree. Mark?
Yeah, I should have done this when I gave my pick, but I'll say, like I said earlier, it's pressure on Spencer Sanders, make it kind of difficult for him, and just capitalize on big plays. They're there. We just have to make them.
Pat? Matt?
I'm going to think outside the box a little bit. I think Javonte Barnes is the key to this game because Eric Gray needs to stay healthy and fresh throughout the game, and Barnes needs to come in and be explosive when he's called on to keep that, for that to continue to happen.
Pat,
That
I
was just-
freaking love that.
Is that
I freaking love
Pat's hot take of the week?
Maybe.
that. Where's the hat?
I didn't bring it.
Matt, go ahead.
Third down conversions for both sides, for the offense and for the defense to get off the field. That's what I'll be looking for.
Gotta love it. Let us know down below what you're looking for out of this game. What's your biggest thing you're watching for? All right, boys. What do you say we talk some college football pick'em?
Oh, one second.
Yes, Pat.
About Oklahoma and Gundy. Did you guys see what Gundy said this week? He said, had he have gone to the University of Oklahoma and played for Barry Switzer, he would be the Oklahoma football coach right now, not the Oklahoma State football coach right now. And I just found that funny.
It's like, bro, we
Like,
demand
no.
a certain level of success.
Yeah.
We
He
might
also-
not be there right now, but like, come
He
on.
also, said Boz was on steroids this week, like to an open hot mic. So like that was like, we all know it, but like no one really like says it.
Right.
So that was
Come on,
funny.
man.
I don't know. It's
Don't
just
talk about
Gundy.
it, be
It's just
about it.
he's just a character more than a
Yeah.
football coach at this point. I feel like, not saying he's not a good football coach. I feel like he's just kind of outgrown the coaching aspect, and everyone's just like, that's Gundy. I
It's a
just feel
little like Gruden, just
yeah.
not
Yeah.
nearly as bad, and then definitely won't have as bad an ending. Although, if we remember, there was a thing. I won't go past that. There was a thing.
Right. There was a thing.
Okay.
I'm a man.
Yeah. Let's Let's move on to our college football pick'em. If you're part of our pick'em page, keep on picking. We only got a couple more weeks left in it. Number one, Frat Loops.
Back
He's
again,
number one.
baby.
He's 65 and 44, 99.6 percentile. M. Morris, 94, right behind him, 64 and 45, 99.3 percentile. They are real close, neck and neck. Only 10 points separates them. Mark, you're in third. Shout out to you. Mark is 60 points behind Frat Loops for first place. So let's go ahead and make some picks. What do you guys say? We'll start with a big game. I'm looking on our pick'em page. We don't really have a lot of big games on our pick'em page right now. That's sad. Let's do Michigan and Illinois. Michigan, a 17.5 point favorite at home in Ann Arbor. Illinois, number 21 in the country, 7-3. Michigan to cover, 17.5. That's who I got.
That's easy for me. Michigan to cover 17.5. They're at home. They're the better team. They're better coach. They're more talented. Blake Corum is seeming to build some sort of Heisman candidacy, despite looking like great value Samaje Perine. So we'll see how that goes. I do think they cover this week, though.
Michigan is worried about next week. They're not thinking about this week. They're going to have some flukes. It's going to take some time to get the ball rolling for them. I don't think they cover.
But you think they win?
Yeah, they'll win.
I think I'm kind of with Pat here. I think they have a looming opponent coming, and their mind might not be where it needs to be. And so I still have them winning the game, but not covering.
Michigan too good at home. Easy money. Take Michigan and 16.5 or whatever it is.
Okay. Kansas State. Oh, did everyone pick?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 15, Kansas State on the road in Morgantown. They're getting 7.5 against the Mountaineers. Kansas State has to win. They got to win to really clinch a spot in the Big 12 title game, don't they? They're second right now.
I think so.
If they win, they clinch, I think.
Okay. So they're going to play hard. West Virginia coming off a big win last week. They're probably feeling good. I think this is a time where Kansas State goes in there and just physically dominates that team who we saw last week, who is frankly not that good. And so give me Kansas State to cover 7.5. Emo.
Same. Kansas State will cover that.
Yeah, Kansas State's a real football team, and that's why they're going to go into Morgantown and take care of business.
I completely agree. Give me Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm surprised the points were so low on this, especially after what Kansas State did to Sikkim T's Bears last. So I'm actually surprised it's only 7.5 at this point. So I feel like it's kind of an easy Kansas State to cover that one.
I feel like we're getting a free 2.5 points there.
You think?
Yeah, that should be like 9-point spread, 9.5 point spread. Maybe
Okay.
not quite double digits, but
I would totally agree.
Okay. All right. Georgia at Kentucky, minus 22.5 for Georgia. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, this is tough. That's a lot of points. It's
It is.
really hard to pick points. I have Georgia winning. It's just 22 points. It's just when do they take their foot off the gas? At what point? They've looked dominant all season long, and I believe Georgia. I'm pulling it up real quick. I'm going to take Georgia. I'll take the 22.5. I think Georgia's too good. They're 6-4 against the spread, but I don't think Kentucky's that. So I'll take Georgia the points.
Georgia's 6-4 against the spread. They leave Lexington at 6-5. They win, but they don't cover. Give me Kentucky to cover.
yeah,
I'm gonna
22.5 is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to take Kentucky to cover as well.
Brian,
All right. Oh, sorry. I'm last.
you're right.
Kentucky just lost to Vanderbilt, right?
Yes.
That was Kentucky, correct? Yeah.
That
Give
was.
me Georgia. Give me Georgia.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right, Pat, we'll do it for you. Tennessee Volunteers minus 20.5 at South Carolina. South Carolina 6-4. Vols 9-1, looking for their 10th win of the year. Patrick, start with you.
No one can stop that offense except for Georgia 2 weeks ago. They'll give me Tennessee to cover.
I'm honestly taking Tennessee to cover 2. I don't think South Carolina can score with them. I just think Tennessee puts up too many points, and I don't know if South Carolina can keep up with that. So give me Tennessee.
Same on that. I think it's a good opportunity for Tennessee to sort of get right again and make things flow like they did before the Georgia game and gear up for. Wait, no, they can't, can they? They
Nope.
won't be. Boy, that's tough. Sorry, Pat.
Gear up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Gear up for hopefully the playoff.
Yeah.
Man, we're all going to be so mad when USC jumps them. We're going to be so
I know.
mad.
Dude.
I don't want to think about that right now.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I don't want to think about that right now. Okay. Who else has to pick?
Me and Gan.
Go ahead.
Gan, you can go.
Yeah, South Carolina just lost to Florida 38-6. So I think this is pretty easy for me. I'll take Tennessee in the points.
Okay.
We're going 5 for 5. I'll take Tennessee.
All right. Everybody's orange. All right. Let's do real quick. By the way, make your picks on our college football playoff page, college football pick'em page. We're talking college football playoff now. The rankings were released last night or 2 nights ago if you're watching this on Thursday. Georgia, the number 1 overall team. Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4, Tennessee 5, LSU 6, USC 7, Alabama 8, Clemson 9, yada, yada. Anything surprise you guys on the rankings thus far? I don't have any problem with the top 4, especially since Ohio State and Michigan are just going to take care of each other.
I don't have a problem with it right now. I see Tennessee getting in no matter what if they win out.
Man, I just really think not winning your division should mean something.
But I mean, not in the SEC East or West, really. Like, no.
Longtime program guys listeners will note that Mark pointed out 2, maybe 3 weeks ago that they were setting us up for a USC playoff run. And I think it's very easy to see if they run the table here and win the Pac-12, they're jumping non-conference champion Tennessee and LSU.
They are.
When Ohio State and Michigan take each other out.
You know what I'm fascinated by, Mark, with thinking of that? What if LSU beats Georgia in the SEC championship game? Then what do they do? Do you put USC over Georgia?
I bet you drop.
No, you don't.
No, Georgia doesn't fall out, but LSU jumps in.
I don't think USC goes then.
And then you look at either TCU or USC.
They're undefeated.
If TCU's undefeated,
you take them.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, at this point, I think USC's locked in. Or I'm not US. I think Georgia's locked in no matter what.
I'm pretty
sure. No matter what they do.
I'm pretty sure USC's last 3 games are against ranked teams. That's definitely going to help them.
Or expose them.
Or expose them. Yeah, like they're. Okay. I mean, if they lose, then they're exposed.
What team are you talking about? Who?
USC.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
the fighting Caleb Williams.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what that USC team's all about. Honestly, we really are. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, my only complaint is I think USC should be above LSU because Tennessee went to Baton Rouge and put a spanking on them.
That's right.
And they do about that. They do have 2 losses. LSU is definitely greatly improved, but I just don't know how you don't put USC at 6 and LSU at 7 at this point. That would be my only complaint on that part. I think everything else makes sense to me, but I'm not sure that flip right there.
My argument against the conference championship thing is that Tennessee had the 3rd hardest strength of schedule this year in the country. And USC and TCU did not. They had nowhere close to them.
Yeah, but you can only,
it's the Oklahoma argument from the last 10 years.
Yeah, you know when that strength of schedule is going to matter? When you lose your conference championship game. But you aren't there, so it doesn't matter.
To the best team in the country.
That's your conference. That's part of this whole thing, right? And that's
some kind of
that's part of the reason they're expanding the playoff.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right. That's anybody else thoughts on the college football playoff before we move on?
Not on the college football playoff specifically, but Xavier Worthy to USC next year. That's going to be crazy, right?
Dude.
Man, every year it seems like they're just going to drop a bag for whatever receiver they can go get.
I know. They really will.
I wonder what that defense is going to look like next year. Have you guys watched USC at all?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
absolutely incredible with Caleb Williams. Their defense is trash.
I don't know if I told you guys, I was watching their game a couple weeks ago, and Caleb, I literally watched one play, and Caleb did this like spinorama and threw a pass he had no business completing, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do it.
They look so much like the Oklahoma teams from the past 5 years. Like it's almost identical. It's crazy.
Yep.
Well, and also in a rough way, because that over dependence on the quarterback to just go fix everything.
Yes.
That's not the way you want to play football. So yeah, we're struggling and it looks bad sometimes, but in a perfect world next year, the defense is 30% better and the offense only has to be 15% better. Right. And then you're on track to a much more sustainable, build uponable football program than just, man, I hope the next great quarterback likes me.
Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray couldn't drag those OU teams to playoff wins. I'm on record now. I don't think Caleb can drag that USC team to a playoff win either. I don't, because I've seen it play out before. And this is exactly what it is. They can't do it.
Oh yeah,
they may make it
by 16 points in that game.
So much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay. Comment of the week. We're gonna pick a commenter of the week. I'm trying to do better about that. So I tasked the boys to find us a commenter of the week. Anybody want to give their comment of the week?
So there were a bunch of mean ones, and I'm not going to pick that because I think we should not be glorifying that. So instead, I'm going to give my idea to Deborah Myers. She says,
Deborah,
just to correct the fan attendance, I was there for every single snap, soaking wet and freezing along with a handful of other diehard fans, and I'm no spring chicken. I will endure all kinds of environments to support my alma mater.
Oh.
But
oh no.
wish the team had the same demeanor. Hope they find their passion for Bedlam.
Great comment,
Deborah.
Deborah. Right?
Deborah.
Just hits the right note.
It's a great one. That's a great comment, Deborah. Pat, did you have
that's
one?
great. Just
okay, Deborah.
If there's a best one, there's a best one. Like that's what it
Deborah,
is.
you're the commenter of the week. Congratulations, Deborah. Appreciate you for commenting. If you're watching this video, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Folks, subscribing costs you nothing. It's the easiest thing you can do. Just click the subscribe button. Helps us out more than you know. Just keep on doing it. Keep on commenting. We love to see it. Okay. I want to move on to Circle the Wagons. Matt Gann.
Guys, I feel like it's been a while. I haven't done a preview pod in 2 weeks, because I've been out. I was at the Stars game. I was sick, and it's time to circle them wagons. Let's just jump right into it. The OU women's soccer team, their season came to an end a few weeks ago. Patrick, I know you're super disappointed about it, but let me tell you, they had a great year, first winning season in 6 years. So congrats to the Sooners. They fell to TCU in the semifinal of the Big 12 championship 3-0, but the future looks bright. They just signed the number 14th class in the nation, number 1 in the Big 12. So I think what Mark Carr is doing, which Patrick harped on at the very beginning of their season, is setting up the women's team for such a bright future ahead, especially if heading into the SEC and playing those teams. So congrats on a great season for OU soccer and beyond. OU volleyball, the last couple matches they played, beat West Virginia 3-0, beat Texas Tech 3-2, went down to Austin, played the number 1 Cowgirls in the nation, they got swept 3-0. They actually playing Kansas State tonight. I believe that game is going on currently, so we should know the score for that tomorrow as they continue to play through Big 12 match play. Another program starting, 2 of them, OU's men's and women's basketball. Let's start with OU men's. Came right out of the gate losing to Sam Houston State, 52-51. That is a tough start, especially how last year ended and getting a couple of good transfers from the portal. You're just hoping that Porter Moser can figure it out and get some of these guys working. We still have a lot of guys from last year playing, especially the Grove brothers, and they got transfer from Washington State, Nevada, played at Washington or Wichita State and Nevada. Grant Sherfield, who is the leading point guard, so he should make a big difference. They did bounce back and beat Arkansas Pine Bluff and UNC Wilmington, so good bounce back for them. They do play South Alabama, and then they have an ESPN's event invitational, which is kind of like the mini tournament that a lot of the teams play that you see in the beginning of the year. So hopefully they can get off to a better start coming up. OU's women's basketball, on the other hand, currently 3-0, beating Oral Roberts, SMU, and BYU. They actually go on the road to play Utah, who's currently number 25, and then they'll play UT Arlington. So a couple programs. Seasons are over, a couple programs starting up, so we'll see how it all plays out, especially with OU football, coming to a close in the next few weeks. So that is Circle the Wagons. Happy to be back.
Thank you, Matt Gann. Love to see it. We're going to do something with the World Cup starting up. Patrick is our resident soccer football fan, and we thought it'd be fun to give Patrick 2 minutes every episode to update us on the World Cup and give you everything you need to know about the World Cup in 2 minutes.
Are we
all right? Let's do it.
Do we need to time this?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, here.
I do think
someone get a horn ready.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, I want to have the timer up just to mess with you and be funny.
Right.
That's all I want. Okay, are you ready, Patrick?
I'm ready, baby. Let's do this.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, the World Cup starts this week, everybody, and it's taking place in Qatar. It should have never taken place in Qatar because it's hot in Qatar, and that is the reason why it's taking place in December and not in the summer where it usually takes place. So everyone has to stop their seasons and go to the World Cup. It's really messing up with everything. 7,500 workers have allegedly died trying to build the stadiums in Qatar. Teams are actively demonstrating against strong Qatar ideologies, such as like wearing the pride flag and things like that, because homosexuality is not allowed in Qatar. So it's bringing a lot of light into like the Qatar government, which some would say like it's awful that everything that's happened has happened, but also it's bringing light to the rest of the world about how bad this country, or not maybe bad, but bad, whatever it is, whatever you want to say about it. It's bringing light to that. Anyways, alcohol is not allowed in Qatar, and Budweiser signed a $75 million deal to sell alcohol. And they said, okay, we can sell alcohol and beer in the stadiums. But then this week, Qatar said, by the way, you can't, you have to kind of hide where you're selling it. So Budweiser, of course, was going to bring all their tents and like all the stuff. And they're like, no, it's got to be pretty hidden. So that's happening. 26 players instead of 23. That's because of COVID. 5 subs instead of 3. I hate that. First time women referees are ever going to be at the Men's World Cup. Very cool. USA is in the World Cup for the first time in 8 years. They're in a group with England, Wales, Iran. Watch out for Iran. The USA should finish second in the group behind England, but Iran is good. I'm going to compare countries to college football teams now so everyone kind of gets it. France is Alabama. Germany is Ohio State. England is Michigan. Brazil is Tennessee. Belgium is TCU. Argentina is USC. Spain is LSU. Portugal is Clemson. And lastly, Jamal Musiala will win the FIFA Young Player of the World award for this World Cup.
Patrick,
what you need to know.
That was incredible.
Patrick, you crushed it.
Thank you.
6 seconds left.
The political,
so much information.
going from the political spectrum to being mad about the number of substitutions to not being able to drink beer we were wild through that.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, Patrick, you did a fantastic job. I would highly recommend everyone watch the FIFA scandal on Netflix. It really shows you how Qatar
I need to watch that tonight.
The collaboration and how corrupt FIFA is.
Really
Qatar
bad.
should never, ever have hosted or been in the contention to running for the World Cup. They don't even have enough space for people. They're kicking out their residents or setting up tents and fields. It's horrific. And like you said, Patrick, the slave labor, the people dying, that should never, ever happen. This should never happen. I'd highly recommend watching the documentary on Netflix. It's really insightful and really exposes how corrupt FIFA is overall.
Gotta love it. Gotta watch that. All right. Amazing. Patrick, can't wait for next week's.
Yeah.
Or even Sunday. I'll let you do on Sunday or after.
See,
Yeah, why not? Okay. MVPs of the week time. PGP MVPs. Mark, we'll start with you.
I don't have one this week. So I'm going to go with real fast because it just came to me. Everyone who commented on the video this past week We got more comments, I think, than we've gotten
Ever. Yeah.
ever. I'm pretty sure. Keep that up, guys. We really love seeing everything you have to say. It's a lot of fun for me to go through and see it. So, commenters, program commenters are my MVP this week.
Love it. We can see when you're subscribed and you comment, by the way. We're more inclined to pick our commenter of the week if you're subscribed. Ryan.
Yeah, so my MVP of the week is the NFL game of the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills that
Great
was
game.
played.
Amazing.
And I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. Everybody knows this on this pod. That was one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my entire life. Are the Minnesota Vikings the luckiest team in the entire world? Potentially. But I'm going to take this 8-1 with me. We went into arguably the best team in the AFC, and we won on their field. And I am extremely excited about this season.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It was a great game. Congrats to beating the third best team in the AFC and the second. You beat the Dolphins, and who's the second? And the Bills are the third. So congrats on beating them. Beat the Chiefs. You beat.
I said
one.
arguably the best.
No, I know. I'm just telling you. Yeah, you good. You were right. You were good. Matt, who's your MVP?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the NFL theme. I got to give it up to the second round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson, who's been highly, highly criticized, trying to replace Devontae Adams, been injured all season, finally has a breakout game, 4 receptions, 107 for 3 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 107, 3 touchdowns to lead the Packers to a pretty good win over the Dallas Cowboys in primetime television. Obviously, Green Bay has been down this year. Big win for them. Hopefully, they can continue that momentum moving forward. But big shout out to the second round draft pick.
Love it. Mark? Oh, we already did yours.
No, but I'll just real fast. No one's criticized Christian Watson. It was just a bad draft pick. That's all. I'm sure he's a great kid.
I mean, I think that's what they're criticizing.
The rivalry
they're criticizing
continues.
the Packers. Yeah. Hey, how about them Rockets? Hey, how about them Rockets 2-12? Hey, how about them Rockets?
They haven't been playing well.
Incredible.
Yeah. Hey, remember that
They're
argument we had
criticizing
that the Rockets
management.
were going to be really good in the next 3 to 4 years?
They're bad this year, and we're in the
They're bad.
Victor sweepstakes. I can't
You're
be
not
made to
good. You're
feel
not
bad
good.
about this, Matt. It's better.
Patrick, who's your
That's
MVP?
only
My
justification.
MVP of the week is a place where we will all be this weekend, and that is the one and only Blue Room at the Mons. Best, most iconic place in Norman to go hang out. We're all going to the Blue Room. We're all going to be together. I cannot wait. Blue Room's my MVP. It is
Hey,
where
we're gonna. Hey,
dreams
do we
come
want to tell
true.
the viewers
no,
time
no.
and when we're going to be there?
No.
Come
Time
stop
and
by.
place, yeah.
I'll
It's
be-
actually
come
for
come have a
Definitely
shot with the
not.
boys.
I don't know why we would do that.
It's not a safe place. The viewers are great. I just don't know if I want our viewers to see us.
Guys,
In
Okie
that
Trades
state.
will be there. Okie Trades
Who?
will be there. Okie
Who?
Trades.
Oh, Okie Trades. Okie Trades. Love you, Okie Trades. Love you, man. My MVP of the week is Patrick. And I wasn't going to mention the Blue Room thing. I was just going to say Patrick. But Patrick's my MVP because he got the Blue Room. And I'm going to see
Right.
Patrick. And I
From
haven't seen
California.
Patrick in a while. Patrick's flying in from California, making the drive, being a true program guy. Love you, Patrick. You're the man.
Love you.
That's going to do it for this week's episode. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, Instagram Program Guys with a Z, our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, that's where you can find us. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get it. That's going to do it for this week. We'll have a post-game pod for you on Sunday. Yes, Sunday, because the game's late. So we'll see you then. That's going to do it. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.